And he comes in with "Take Me Down to the River Bend." I'm like, what are we doing here?
It's different. It reminds me. Think about Bleed It Out. When you have the beginning, you're supposed to be in the saloon. They can do this type of energy.
You're supposed to be in the saloon. Welcome to the Emo Social Club, the show about music reviews, interviews, and news. I'm Brian.
And I'm Lizzie.
And today, we are talking about the Linkin Park singles. They've just come out with their new record. This is our Linkin Park tier list of all of their songs they've ever released to radio.
You know, yeah, because probably the first time you've ever listened to Linkin Park was maybe on the radio, most likely, and probably now all the time.
I think so, actually, yeah. Crawling came up on MTV for me. That was my first one.
I had AMVs on YouTube.
That is specific and correct, probably. So we are going to go through all of the singles. We're going to talk about everything up to the new record From Zero that just came out. We're going to talk about every single from all of the albums. A lot of these I had to listen to for the first time for this that I'd never heard from some of their later records, but I know their old records very well.
You sent me the playlist, and there were some that I had heard because I've been on like a Linkin Park kick for the last couple of weeks, and some of them just never came up on shuffle, or if they did, I just went past them because they weren't fitting the vibe I was looking for. So then when I actually had to listen to it, I said, oh, awesome.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that going into this. So these are in a random order. These are not by chronological order. We just sorted them out, so we're talking about everything, wherever it is, so make sure you watch through the whole thing. Before we get into all of our opinions and our takes on all of these songs, make sure you are subscribed. We got a lot of stuff coming to the channel. We have album reviews coming out every Monday. We've got a lot of stuff that you can listen to throughout the week, watch, enjoy, see our faces. There's so much coming. Merry Christmas.
You're going to hate us, or you're going to love more of it. Who knows?
We also have our Patreon, and you can become a member here on YouTube. Support us, keep the lights on over at the club. Some exclusive content, more in the future. All right, the first song we're talking about is Somewhere I Belong off of Meteora, the second album, first single off the second album. This song holds up.
Oh, yeah.
This song holds up quite well.
Everyone knows it for the most part because it is just always there.
It's just always
It's always there. I don't even know how to explain it in a concrete way other than if I'm listening to Linkin Park, this is always going to be in the rotation, even if it's on like a random shuffle.
I am very, listening back to some of their stuff now, I was realizing like they really did not fall into the sophomore slump thing. They had such a massive breakout album that they really did not flub the second one. They stayed in the genre. They stayed with the sound. They kept up like what made the first record do very well. They just amplified it and made it a lot better. And this being the first single, maybe leaning a little bit more towards the in the end sort of sound, the softer sound, versus being like a heavy rocker or a nu metal riffer or something like that. They were like, no, let's do something that's a little bit more emotional, a little bit catchier melodically. But it absolutely holds up, and I think it's one of the better ones in their their genre, in the category of what Linkin Park should sound like, I think.
This is already foreshadowing things to
come.
come.
It's foreshadowing a little bit,
no.
Yeah. I'm going to go A on this one.
I feel like I would agree with A because it's not, there's ones that I know are S tier, but this one's close.
This one's close.
Definitely close.
I do not think it is one of the best of the catalog. I think it is not the best on Meteora, but I do think that it is the classic Linkin Park sound that I want to hear when I think of Linkin Park.
Yeah.
A. Now we have one of the new singles from Zero, Over Each Other. I believe this is the third one. This is the thumbnail from YouTube.
Wow, you really just went above and beyond here.
I was trying, a lot of bands do put out artwork for their singles. So I've been trying to pull those for like the graphical, like, here you go. You can see like this is a specific one for this song. And now it's like basically just YouTube thumbnails is like their singles artwork. So there weren't a lot for the singles from Zero. So now we have Over Each Other, picture of Emily Armstrong there. Do you like this new record? Are you feeling it?
Listen, I love Linkin Park, and I think the thing that throws me off with From Zero is the fact that they had heaters. And there's a lot of the stuff that at the start, at the top, when you're supposed to get people into it, it sounds so generic radio rock to me that I dip out before we even get to more of that traditional new metal Linkin Park sound.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big disservice. And I love Emily Armstrong's vocals. I think they're fantastic. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that for me. It's the structure of the songs, and it's just throwing me off.
I feel that. It's very like, the record is 30 minutes long, right? It's not a long record. There's a lot of good tracks on it that I really enjoy. I don't think all of them are needed, but I also can understand why you wanted to release a full length 30-minute record.
Yeah.
And I do dig a lot of the songs on it. The singles are definitely very strong. I would say this one, Over Each Other, is maybe like just one of the more like straightforward rock radio songs you're talking about.
Yeah.
And this one didn't really, like, even listening to them all as the record and now as the singles, like this one did not stand out to me so much. And it'd be one of the ones where I'm like, I know, they're going to play it live off this record, but also I don't necessarily remember it super well. Like when I think back about how the song sounds, I'm like, kind of forgetful.
Yeah, this one is a little bit more, like you said, it is very generic. It's straightforward. There's nothing that makes it Linkin Park. There's no real spark to it. This is a song that I would even categorize as if, there's a bunch of fans who said they should have just went and started a new band rather than just use Linkin Park. This would have been the lead single if in that imaginary band.
In that new band, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go C on this one. I don't think it's the worst. I think there's worse stuff.
It's tolerable.
It's tolerable.
I'm not going to switch it off if I hear it.
Listening to this playlist, there was a certain period of time listening to it chronologically where I was like, man, I cannot wait to get to the new record. Like, I need to get back up. I need to get the energy back up with the songs from the new record. This was not necessarily one of them, but it was not as bad as so much of the other stuff that I heard on this playlist.
So you're basically saying, well, it's the lesser of two evils here.
Lesser two evils, which is why I'm going middle of the road C on it.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say C.
Until It's Gone. That's the next one we got here. Is this off of The Hunting Party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a song.
I don't think we ever need to write a song that uses the words, you don't know what you've got until it's gone, ever again. And this was even past when we should have stopped doing that.
Yeah, this was just kind of a rehashing, I feel, of so many other also like kind of slower mid-tempo songs. It just felt like it was replicated from everything else that they were putting out during this time frame.
Yes.
So I felt listening to it that I've already listened to this song at least 4 other times.
Yeah.
I just got bored.
This was a very boring one. Even listening to it a bunch of times, like just to, familiarize myself with it enough to give it a good ranking. I was like, what is this one? Why is this so generic? Like, what was happening at this time that made this so boring? And it's the lyric, like, and I'll probably say this a lot during this, like, Linkin Park should not be known for their lyrics. When Linkin Park is doing their best lyrics, it's the kind of lyrics where you're so clearly mad at your mom for not giving you the chicken nuggets or saying you got to go to bed, like or you have to clean your room. Like, those are when Linkin Park is writing the best lyrics. Is like, I'm mad that school and my parents are telling me what I got to do and I don't want to do my homework. And when you start to get into more of the later stuff where they're like, no, we're adults and like we have these like really bigger thoughts and like there's a much bigger world out there. It's like, now you've gotten so generic that I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm just sort of lost in like the vagueness of what your song is trying to tell me.
You're not lost in the memories?
I'm lost. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. This is a fucking D to me. This is D.
I would say even F.
I mean, yeah.
This was not anything. I mean, and I'm just someone who doesn't like slow music in general. This was really hard to get through.
This is a rough one. Definitely low tier. All right, now we've got New Divide from the Transformers, one of them soundtracks.
Is it Transformers 2?
I think so, because What I've Done was not officially in a soundtrack. Well, it wasn't written for a soundtrack, I should say. It was written for them and they use it in the soundtrack. This was one that they were like specifically write a song for a Transformers soundtrack, which I mean, I think with the benefit of hindsight, yes, the Transformers would be listening to Linkin Park.
So what else is on the Transformers playlist, Brian, other
The
than
rest
Linkin
of this
Park?
playlist. It's just all Linkin Park.
That's it? They don't have any variety?
Can you tell me that Linkin Park is not a perfect band for Michael Bay's Transformers series?
I feel like there's more broiness that you would have to pull.
I think this is broy as can be. This song is so specifically big budget radio rock for the purpose of making like a soundtrack to a gigantic summer blockbuster movie. It's so generic. It offends nobody. It makes everybody feel whatever. It makes the dudes with the trucks bang their heads,
Not
feeling
the
like,
dudes
yeah,
with the trucks. Yeah, because they're about to get changed into a transformer.
Yeah.
That's how they
I'm
activate
Optimus
it.
Prime.
I really love this song.
I knew you would. You're
I
the
love
most
this
like
song so much.
you're the most like Transformers, Rise of the Machines,
Listen,
like Twilight movie type shit.
When Transformers 2 came out, against my will somehow, I saw Transformers 2 5 times in the theaters with 5 different sets of people.
Oh my God.
It was too much. I'm never watching Transformers ever again, by the way. But this song made it bearable, knowing that I was going to get this near the end.
This song is so generic, and I think led to a lot of the generic stuff that Linkin Park did after it. It is sort of at that like beginning part, so it's not as bad as a lot of stuff we have on here. But this song is not like it's. What is a new divide? Like, what is that? It's vague. It's generic.
Well, you know,
it doesn't mean anything.
They're the Transformers against the bad Transformers.
But that was an old divide. We knew that. We knew where they stood. Autobots and Decepticons.
Okay, listen, it's been a while.
Yeah, Autobots transform and roll out. I am Optimus Prime.
All right.
I don't think this is as bad as a lot of stuff. It's one that I definitely can sing in my head, where a lot of the stuff that was on this playlist I could not. So I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay, that's higher than I thought it was gonna
low
be.
B. I'm almost. I'm going C. I'm going high C on it. No, I'm bringing it down.
I made him change it with my
Yeah,
words.
I'm bringing it back down.
I have to give it an A. I listened to this. This is like a cinematic. As you're always upset that I romanticize my life, it makes it bearable to live.
I find it strange that you would romanticize Linkin Park's New Divide.
You know,
and
I
not
didn't
think
say
of like
how, and that's a conversation for another day.
a man turning into a fucking airplane and being like, cool.
Listen, there's that one weird study that like women are gonna date robots now. I don't think I would, because iRobot is a movie, but that is something that could happen.
That makes me very scared for how you rank this song. All right, next we got Lost in the Echo. This is from The Living Things.
Allegedly, yeah.
The Living Things.
I mean, they're living.
I don't know what so much of it means. It doesn't tell me anything. Even Lost in the Echo as a song title doesn't tell me anything. It's like this grandiose idea, or like saying something that you know is going to tell people it's a rock song, right? And in that, it's just so generic and vague that like, yeah, Lost in the Echo, man.
It doesn't do anything. The messaging is so discombobulated, I feel, at this point, because like you kind of said earlier, with what you said about New Divide, I feel like that was their first like big money radio success, that they said if we keep up, now maybe, who knows, but in theory, they could have said if we keep up with this type of sound and style, make it more appealing to a general audience, then we can kind of keep it rolling.
And pull back on a lot of like the heavy, the rocky stuff that really made them popular in the beginning. With the benefit of hindsight as well, it obviously went back to that.
Yeah.
Major rock radio is now heavier than it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cycle.
Yeah, and I think that they were trying to break the cycle, breaking the habit. It did a lot of good for them at the time. I think the music is not benefited by it. However, I'm ranking this one a B because I really did not hate this one as much as I hated a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And I found myself actually kind of like enjoying some parts of this one. Yeah, it's passable. I would definitely continue to listen to this in a Linkin Park playlist. Now that we have this one, I'm like, let's remove all the
let's
fluff.
take the bad one out. We can
the unnecessary
restructure
stuff.
it.
This one I might leave on.
I have to give this like a low C.
Yeah.
If it is on, but it has to fit the vibe and the mood. If we're like talking about New Divide, Meteora sounds, anything like that, and then you hit me with this, I'm gonna say we're skipping this guy.
Yeah. Man, Meteora really just like started this path for them, and they really should have just stuck with it. Next up, we got Burning in the Skies off of 1,000 Suns. That record is not a lot of anything. It's very nothing.
I feel like they wanted to repurpose what they did with their album prior, and then they just gave us a whole lot of none.
There's a lot of more electronic stuff and a lot less. Felt like in a lot of these singles, there's a lot less rapping. There's a lot less of like Chester's growly voice, or his more like raspiness.
Yeah.
Some more like middle range singing, like not a lot of the highs that he can do, and not a lot of variety in the vocals. This one didn't really stand out to me on multiple listens. I think this one was like getting a little bit more radio.
Yeah, this one was a little bit more played because it's more approachable, more attainable.
Also, no, I might be mistaking it with Burn It Down because you got too much burning, too much burn.
Yeah.
Burn is a song we need to remove from rock music
Just
altogether.
burn. So
Just
we're not allowed to burn things anymore.
I
Damn,
think
that's
that
crazy.
We should only allow Usher's Burn to be played, and we should remove it from rock music.
What about Burning Up by the Jonas Brothers?
I am on the fence because there are guitars in that, and it is a rocky song. It's a rocky
poppy,
boy.
That's poppy punk. It's poppy rock. If you listen to the entire album.
Yeah, I'm taking it out then. It's done. You argued against yourself on that one. That's
No, I said it's
yeah, I said we're taking it out of rock music, and you said no, it's rock. All right, fine, it's gone. It's gone. Cut it up. No more burning up. End of the pop. It's gone. Cut it out. No more burning. I'm giving this a D.
Yeah, I think this one's also a D. It's there and it's fine, but it's not anything I'd really go back to or really memorable because this was on here and I said, when did this come out?
Yeah. Even with this album art, it's like, what if part of the country really enjoyed our music more? And this is like when they start to be like, I think that there's people in the military who would really enjoy listening to this while they're overseas doing missions.
What year did this come out?
This was 2010. I mean, yeah, kind of. I don't know when the move towards radio rock that also appealed to like red state rock or like southern state, you know, like not city, not major, like
yeah, you're more rural
urban areas and more rural. Like I don't know when that change happened. I don't know if it was 2010, but certainly like a lot of the military imagery that I'm seeing in this album cover is like maybe we should lean towards that.
Well, this was, remember, history wise, we still have the recession in 2008. We're 2 years out of it. Recession pop. Looking at radio trends in history, around like 2014 is when we start to see a little bit more of that hard and active rock. It's the same time that we see like that emo pop punk revival too.
Yeah.
But that was so much more popular and also still attainable in what people were looking for because it was fresher and young, where we had the hard and active rock scene being the same bands that were out there in the early 2000s. Yeah. So people wanted something new. And now it's huge. It's like one of the top charting genres and radio stations right now.
I mean,
it's hard and active rock. So
everything has its space now. All right, next we've got What I've Done off of Minutes to Midnight.
Yes.
The third record. This is really where they were keeping with a lot of the older sound, but changing it up to be mainstream radio, more appealing to different audiences that probably didn't want the screaming and did not want the rapping.
Yeah, because during this time frame, I feel like rapping was a little frowned upon, upsettingly so.
I mean, I feel like it's just appealing to white rock audiences. They were like not feeling the hippity hop. I
mean, What I've Done was on Rock Band.
This was in Transformers, man. This song bangs.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad that it bangs so hard because it is like just such a difference from the older stuff. And there's some stuff on this record that is really leaning into that old sound and making it good. Like the same thing they did on Meteora, where they just have more money behind creating this new thing and they stick to that old sound, but they just amplify it. This feels like, what if all of the things from Meteora that didn't have the rapping in it and had more of like the moody, like louds and softs, but mainstream rock radio.
This really was a transitional album for them. And we talk about a lot of other artists that have that, where it's could be really good or it could be, oh no, what's happening here? I think this was a really good effort that they put through. And I feel that majority of this album are singles.
They wrote an album where they're like, any of these could just be released and, off to the races. Put it in a Transformers movie.
This was probably the first Linkin Park album I actually like sat down and listened to fully. And this is my favorite Linkin Park album.
That's crazy. That's just crazy to hear and say.
Controversial yet so brave.
Yeah. When the first 2 records exist, that's crazy.
I'd give it a B.
Yeah, I'm going B too. I do think it's really good, but in the catalog, like I would feel remiss to put this at an A or above, considering what else there is to talk about.
Yeah, there's so many other ones that are standouts.
Yeah. All right. Next, we got Talking to Myself. This is the only artwork I could find.
Wow, fantastic.
For promotional use only. So I'm using this to promote that Linkin Park released a song, Talking to Myself. This is off of One More Light, the last record before the reuniting. I believe this is the song, the single that was released the day that Chester left us. And I feel really bad about that in general, because this song is not good.
Yeah.
The song sucks.
This was not a good pick. And I don't know if whoever made this decision or if it was someone in the band pushing it, but this should have not been a single.
No. There's a lot on this record that I'm like, these are not singles. These are, when a DJ releases a track and it's like, you're supposed to hear this only at a festival or in a club.
Yeah.
This is 2017. So it's like kind of on the outs of like the EDM being like a really massive thing. Mm-hmm. Obviously it's still very popular for the purpose of like fests and the big shows. These artists are still doing very well for themselves. But it does ring now like they were trying to do something outside of the genre that they really are, and it just doesn't work for me at all.
It just is not. There's really nothing for me much to say other than this was just bad.
Yeah, it's F.
Absolutely F. I couldn't find anything else to say other than what you said. This was just bad.
Fucking sucks. All right, now we've got Heavy is the Crown off of From Zero. This is the second single released off the new record. This was also featured for
League of
Legends, like gaming championship. It is so anime and so, but like it's, a band that was featured in so many AMVs, so many Dragon Ball clip compilations. Like it absolutely makes sense. And I love that they did not shy away from that, using it for like Arcane, which I believe is the Netflix anime for League of Legends. I don't know. I'm not a dork, so I don't know.
Derogatory?
But yep, I did actually. I kind of dig this song. Like I know it's like a big dumb rock song. Heavy as a Crown. It's like, guys, you guys live in LA. Like you're not struggling. You're writing this for a guy who's like, I miss my wife because I'm in the military.
It's the new era of divorced dad rock,
written by women, and I like that. Divorced women need a song too. And this is Heavy as the Crown of being the woman whose husband, just wasn't doing enough of the dishes or whatever.
The husband wasn't treating her like the queen she is. Yeah. So, I mean, it all comes together.
Heavy is the crown of the queen, Let's turn this around. Let's shift the narrative.
Let's throw it back. I think also when this came out, I saw that it was linked to a video game. And my first thought was, oh, is this a fucking Fortnite?
No, yeah.
I was or Roblox. I'm like, oh, don't do this to me, homie.
Somehow better, worse.
Yeah, and I saw League of Legends. I said, oh, that's good for you guys who don't leave your house.
No one who plays League of Legends is normal, but they do listen to this song for sure. This song appealed to a lot of gamers.
My friend called me and he said, oh, my uncle who's a gamer who doesn't leave his house called me up and said, do you want to see Linkin Park with me? I'm like, how old's your uncle? He's like 55.
When I tell you that Linkin Park is one of the largest musical artists in the world.
Yeah.
Because you also have to remember that they are massive in Asia. They are massive in South America.
Oh, yeah.
They're massive around the world. And like as a Western focused show, Western focused YouTube channel, all that. Like we're talking like very American style. I don't know if a lot of these songs did very well in like the Philippines. They're huge in the Philippines. Like there could be like a massive stadium who's like, I wish you would just play One More Light.
I know in Brazil for when they came there, Domino's had a whole discount for the weekend. So, in Brazil, they're big enough like that. I mean,
everyone's come to Brazil. And League of Legends is also kind of an international thing. They're big in Asia, big in like the Korean, Chinese markets, Japanese markets. So like, I also feel like there's a side of this where Linkin Park just appeals to this type of person.
Yeah.
And those types of people are all around the planet. And this song is so perfect for all of those people. I am not a fucking nerd, but I'm gonna give this one a B, like a high B.
You're saying you're not a fucking with a lot of confidence when I know you are.
Lizzie, Glass House. First of all, learn to game. Like, my lanes are not doing well the way you're playing over here.
I play The Sims.
Yeah, that's why my lanes are fucked up. Your KD ratio is so fucking off right now.
I don't even know what that means.
I know. B.
I'm also going to give it a B for the girlies.
We need to bring back Divorced Mom Rock.
And make it heavier.
Next up, we got Rebellion featuring Darren Malakian. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he is the guitarist of System of a Down.
Okay.
Who also had his own band, I believe, kind of around this time when System of a Down was not really doing that much. I couldn't tell you what this song sounds like right now.
I couldn't either. You said that to point out who was featured on this, and I said, I believe you. I couldn't pinpoint it.
Yeah.
I could not pinpoint it.
The Darren Malakian side project, which no, I don't remember what it's called. His side project was called Scars on Broadway and was just such a like generic rock band from that time period. Like when System of a Down broke off and they did these two projects, and Surge obviously like has such a like distinct voice and distinct style, and Darren was not doing the System of a Down guitar stylings in his own band. It was very much generic radio rock.
If you're gonna have your own other band, usually you're gonna do something a little bit different.
I mean, you would maybe, but like if you can't escape who you are. Linkin Park creating generic radio rock. But I do think that it's taking from that interest of just I want to make something that's popular and generic for everybody. And so this just like it doesn't Rebellion is like such a basic name. It could be like 1,000 different songs.
It's ironic here to have a song called Rebellion when it's really not doing anything to cause you to rebel anything.
It's like the idea of listening to rock music being a rebellious person, and it's like, yeah, you're listening to this in your car on your way to your job. You're not rebelling.
Yeah, you're Linkin Park during this era. They said we need to just get our bag, and sometimes you can fault people. Other times you really can't, because at a certain point too, Linkin Park was one of the bands during this time who was still pretty consistent with putting out music. They didn't really
like every 3 or 4 years or so.
Yeah, so we knew what we were getting. And I feel people were just happy to still be getting Linkin Park during that time.
I think so. I think I find it strange they were releasing, this style of music, thinking that they were also going to be playing a show where they were playing all of the old stuff from Hybrid Theory and Meteora, which is not anything like this. It doesn't sound at all like this stuff, but you have to have enough songs that can bridge the gap between all of those.
Yeah.
And part of me got to a place with some of these where I'm like, I don't see how that gap gets filled. I don't see how we go from one step closer to some of the stuff on the Hunting Party, and like it makes sense in a live setting. And I never saw them like later on. Didn't think there was much of a rush. So I never saw them later.
I've never seen them live.
Yeah.
So I've never been able to see them, period. So I don't even know how it was.
I don't know if they like could really bridge that gap or how much old shit they played, but certainly if they played this, I would have been like, this is a good time to use the bathroom and go get a drink and come back in a minute. This is an F for me for sure.
Yeah, same.
Next up, we got Numb from Meteora. I mean, let's just say this is an S.
Yeah.
It's an easy S.
This is such a long-standing song that's just iconic. I mean, this bridges the alt community and the normie community.
Yes. This is one of the Linkin Park songs. Like top 3 when you are like naming songs that Linkin Park has created. This is like top 3 for sure. This was coming off of like, we need another song that sounds like In the End. We need another song like that where it's more melodic, heaviness. There's the heavy parts, but not something that is going to be as like angry and screamy as a lot of the other stuff on it. Coming from like how big of a hit In the End was, and making this an even better, like all of those pieces of it, the melodics, the electronics, the melodies, the singing, it just works so well. And I think that, since losing Chester, it obviously has become a very iconic thing of like who Linkin Park was. So when you look back at it, you go, it's Numb. That's who that band was.
This is able to personify exactly what Chester Bennington and Linkin Park were, and I feel like still are on some levels based on legacy, really overall.
Yeah.
I dare also say this is a song that is much better than In the End.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Much
I think
better.
this is higher than In the End. And not because we've heard, I guess I've heard both of these quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
These are both these
very-
are both radio singles too.
And I think that this one does hold a lot more to me than In the End does. Like In the End became kind of a meme. This one is not a meme at all.
No,
it's just a good song.
I remember listening to this and just like crying on my bunk bed in my pink room next to my Jonas Brother poster.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Get you a girl who can do both.
Yeah, this is S tier.
Yeah.
Next up, we got From the Inside, also off of Meteora. This song, I still, even now, looking at it, I'm thinking of the Shine Down song.
Which Shine Down
From
song?
the inside. Could be any of them.
I was about to say, that doesn't really
Doesn't
sort
really-
any of them apart, homie.
This song is one of the ones that I can't remember it from the name of the song. If I'm listening to it, I'm like, yes, I know this one. I've listened to Meteora so many times that I can't not know it, but it is not one of the best on the record.
This is one I really enjoy. I think it's a little bit more dynamic and it kind of sticks out to me.
Wow.
It says Shine Down in me.
Finally a fight. I would give this one a low C. I think this is one of the things that keeps Meteora from being like a 10 out of 10 record.
No.
I think this is one of the weaker songs on the record where it just, there's not a lot lyrically, there's not a lot going on that like is as interesting as some of the other songs like Faint or Numb or something like that, where I'm like, yeah, that song is like, you brought together all the pieces and did something really cool with it. And this one is like, no, we know how to do this. We're just going to do like the basic
I feel like
formula.
they did it to showcase that they're able to do this type of style and they do it well. And I feel like it also kind of breaks up like a lot of the chaos that's on the album.
Nah, give me the chaos, dude.
I mean, I love
You're a new metal band.
I
You're
love
the chaos.
but I think I do really like this song. This is one of my favorite songs from Linkin Park. So I'm going to give it, because compared to a lot of other songs too, I'm going to probably give it like a high B, low A.
Fine.
Disagree.
Disagreement. All right, next up we got Heavy featuring Kiara from One More Light. What a bad song.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page, because I was listening to this and it sounded so generic of like a slow down EDM song.
Yes, it's all EDM.
And the only thing that makes it distinct is that Chester's vocals are there. I felt like this wanted to be some type of collaboration between what Zed and
it's like
other female artists had during that time, but
it's
like
y'all,
pitched down.
You need to get Steve Aoki out of the studio when you're writing music. Like Steve Aoki does not need to be there.
I know he's a homie. He could be there for moral support, but he
Yeah.
doesn't need to put anything in there.
There's too much where they're like, what if Linkin Park was Avicii now? And I'm like, don't be Avicii, be Linkin Park.
We already had Avicii. We don't need it again.
We had so much.
We had so much. We took it for granted.
But also, let's acknowledge the fun fact: the first female vocalist for Linkin Park.
True. There
Kiara.
you go.
I'm. This is F.
It's
I
forgettable.
tried so hard to find something I could grab onto and like about this song, and I'm like, it's F. It's just not good.
I definitely felt that. I like EDM because I feel like we're shitting so much on EDM in different ways.
I love EDM.
I love EDM. This is just not what it should have been. With how much talent they have producing these types of sounds, this is so lackluster by comparison.
The problem that happens is that you, as Linkin Park, will never make good EDM in the same way an EDM artist would.
Yeah.
Because you are not an EDM artist, you are Linkin Park. Your group got together to write Linkin Park songs, and you're trying to fit into another place that is not where you started as. And like, I don't think it's just because I'm listening to all of these songs like in a row and going, whoa, something changed here. It's like, this isn't good EDM. This is late stage EDM. This is later from like the big boom where like Skrillex and all that stuff came out and was really like changing the game to come up like, hey, rock musicians, you're out, come over here and do electronic stuff. And a lot of those bands too couldn't really do it because they didn't understand it. They were trying to make something that someone else had perfected, and they were like, well, we should be popular too. We did all this stuff. Like Korn did their fucking EDM record with Skrillex. And it's like, this isn't as good as Skrillex just doing Skrillex stuff.
don't make these people try to conform into the mainstream just to try to make a fast buck.
Yes.
I mean, and we're saying that right now with a lot of different artists. And
we have the benefit of like
too.
7 years, removed from this. It's very different now where genre has died and you don't need to sacrifice your old style to become something else that is popular because everything is popular in its own way now. But this stuff just is such a relic now. Even though it's only 7 years old, it feels like such a relic of a time where everybody was chasing the dollar and trying to make different styles just so they had a record. Like, oh, we've got our EDM record. We want to experiment with it. No, don't.
This reminds me of something that would be played at like a high school or a college homecoming. And that's why I felt I was listening to this and I'm like, was this played at my college's homecoming?
It also feels like it's played at like a DJ set, but like somebody paid for the DJ to play it.
No, it's that weird like intermission for like 5 seconds and then it just switches over.
Yeah.
It's that bridge between to match BPMs.
Yeah. Doesn't work for me. It's F.
Yeah, F.
Next up, we got Waiting for the End. This is off of 1,000 Suns. So we're still, a little bit older in it. It was interesting thinking of this in the Fall Out Boy way, right? Where I always say, when Save Rock and Roll came out, and that was, the new thing after Folie à Deux and all the old stuff, they took the hiatus and they come back and they release Save Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't quite the old stuff. This is a little bit newer. This is a little bit more rock radio and generic than the other stuff to me. And now, because they've done more records, it's like, Save Rock and Roll wasn't really that bad. Because now I've heard Mania. And again, I know your opinion. Mania is so bad it makes Save Rock and Roll good by comparison.
Save Rock and Roll is a fantastic album on its own.
And I felt a little bit of that with Waiting for the End too, where I was like, you know what? This actually isn't that bad because I've heard some of the not so good stuff that came after this. And like, you know what? That one's not that bad.
I feel like Waiting for the End is one that was so consistently on radio for some reason that every time I turn on Q101, I would hear it when it was out. And it got a little bit boring for me. I think it's fine. If I listen to it now, I don't have any other issues with it. I wouldn't necessarily turn it off. I think at this point I would listen to it for nostalgia for that time. I think it's fine.
I think it's absolutely fine. I'm not going higher than high C, but compared to a lot of stuff, I like it quite a bit more.
Yeah, I'd say probably mid C, just like regular C.
All right, next up, off of Hybrid Theory, we got In the End, a classic. It's absolutely like one of those songs that you think of when you think of Linkin Park. This being, one of the ones that could be played a lot more on different radio stations than the heavy stuff because there's no screaming in it, but it's also very hip hop forward. It's got the rapping parts that everybody knows and everybody can sing every word to it. You cannot say the phrase in the end without somebody finishing it with, it doesn't even matter now. It has created a culture around the words used in this.
Yeah, almost annoyingly so at a certain point.
It's annoying as shit, but you can't deny that this song has changed culture, changed the music industry, changed what songs came after it. Because this song was so big and so massive.
The fact that it's been so long lasting in general to so many different audiences in different generations, I think it's so much more of a testament to what Linkin Park, maybe not even thinking at that time what they were creating was to be something that impactful overall that could, be here nowadays. This is a song you're going to hear probably put away in like one of those little vaults and then they dig it up in 100 years and they're going to say, hey kids, have you heard of this thing called nu metal?
Which like, this isn't a song I would play to somebody to say this is nu metal.
No.
But I would say like, this is a very early 2000s core memory. Like you have to know that this song was made of this time, combining rap music and rock music and clean vocals and hip hop and all this stuff was not really done, especially in a song that is more melodic and more slow and more of a ballad type thing. This was not something that would be on mainstream radio like it was with this. It's hard for me not to give this like an A. I don't want to give it an S because I don't think it's like...
I don't think it's numb territory. I feel like for me, in the end, is something that's nostalgic, but when it does come up, I do skip it. I'm not going to lie because I've heard it so many times.
Overplayed.
I would rather hear most other things on the album because I know that if I do turn on literally any rock radio station, I'm going to potentially hear it in the end.
You will hear it in the end.
But we can also point out their music video for this is embedded into my dumb little brain.
It's perfect. It's perfect art.
Fantastic.
It's art. It is high art.
With the best green screen money could buy in the early 2000s.
I love a screensaver ass thing. Yeah, I'm going A. A.
I'd go B.
Wow. This record is classic. This record's 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This song is still very good. There's a reason it's popular.
It's just not one that I find myself wanting to always go back to.
Well, you're being crazy. Next up, we got Shadow of the Day off of Minutes to Midnight.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Why are you looking at me like that?
It's like our dumb little brains know what each other are going to say.
This is like, I'm listening to this song and I'm like, I know what Lizzie's going to say about this one. Like, I know this is like Transformers core. This is
not
like
Transformers.
We're starting a genre called Transformers core.
I hate it
The
here.
bands that play it are Linkin Park.
And Shinedown?
No, not even. You know what was in the first Transformers movie? Like, actually in the film was Pretty Handsome Awkward by The Used.
You know, I've never seen the first Transformers movie. I only went straight to seeing the second one, and then I saw it for 5 fucking times.
Yeah. Well, there's a needle drop for Pretty Handsome Awkward in that movie.
Okay.
And it reminded me that the riff that opens up that song is so good.
Oh yeah, no.
Even when you see like a giant robot like rollerblading down a city street, breaking a highway, you're like, damn man, like they were doing some business on Lies for the Liars on that one song exclusively. That is a fucking terrible record.
What are you talking about?
We're not talking about the
Oh
Used.
my god.
We're not talking about the
ending
Used.
this. We're ending this. We're done.
But that is also like to my point why I know what you're gonna say about this, and I know you like this song.
I love this song.
Yeah, I'm like, I know Lizzie's gonna be like, oh, this is one of her tops. This like
Minutes to Midnight was my like teenage depression album. And I go back to it rather frequently.
It's so wild to me.
I think Shadow of a Day. Have you just never listened to Minutes to Midnight in full and just cry?
Like the album artwork on both the actual album cover and this, it's like just 6 dudes. Like it's so like you're in a rock band. Okay, we need a bunch of dudes just like standing there with their hands in their pockets and jackets on, looking down, like, you know, pensive, thinking, you know,
Everyone
like,
has to have
what is
one.
going on? And this song is just like, hey, have you like, you should think, you should be really like thoughtful and mindful and like, you know, just, oh man, like life, right?
It's reminding you not to basically die, Brian.
Okay. All of Linkin Park's music is that. That's
This is
every
a little
song
bit
they
more, unless
write.
it's slowed down. You know I don't like
Yeah.
slow songs, but here we are.
It's Transformers core. It's like this is the part in the movie where they're like, man, what if the Autobots
What if the Autobots...
what if Optimus Prime, like, you know, he doesn't really care about people either. And like, what if it
What the robots just
Bumblebee.
banded
the
together?
Autobots are like being mean to Bumblebee, and I don't like that. I'm gonna put on Shadow of the Day and like listen to it on the bus.
They are the bus, Brian.
Yeah, the bus transforms.
They are the bus. They're not riding a bus. They are the whole ass bus.
This song's a B. It's not the worst. I think Minutes to Midnight also gets a little benefit of like what has come after. I will not say this is the worst, but I will not say this is like the best.
I love this song, but I would say it's still a B for me compared
Okay.
to a lot of other stuff they have on this album.
Yeah, there's some very good
Banger
stuff on this
Town
record.
USA on
yeah.
this whole entire album.
But Shadow of the Day just being the ballad that came out at the end of the album cycle, I'm like, yeah, you knew this wasn't top tier. You knew that What I've Done does what this song does, what it do.
What it do? You did it to them.
I'm going to release a version of What I've Done called What It Do.
Oh God, I hate it here.
Face myself. Next up, we have Paper Cut off of Hybrid Theory. The first song on the record, the intro, if you bought this record, this is the first song you're hearing by Linkin Park. If you've never heard anything on the radio or anything like that, first song you're hearing, and God, it's a banger.
It's a fucking ripper, dude.
The like electronic drum beat and the guitar coming in and just like swelling up into like the rapping part. And then this is like a song where Chester is also kind of rapping during the chorus.
Dude, it's so phenomenal.
And like, what a banger.
Here's the thing. This was the first Linkin Park song I ever actually heard.
See?
And I heard it in a Wings Club AMV.
See?
And then that made me want to make AMV.
See? You are the core audience.
This song impacted me so deeply at 13 years old. I cannot even tell you. This is an S tier song.
Yeah, it's S.
This is S tier.
For sure. I think it is a perfect encapsulation of like what Linkin Park does musically, but also lyrically, like having like the very vague lyrics, but like at the time being so different from like what's on pop radio, and then nu metal and all of these sort of genres becoming so popular at that time, and being like, yeah, you know what? I am feeling paranoid. It's like, I can't stop all the feeling within. And I'm like a teenager and I'm like, dude, I got to go to high school and like, I can't stop what I'm feeling within, you know? And I'm like, wear my hood up and I'm like, oh, my teachers. It's perfect.
Okay.
It's perfect. All right. Now we've got The Emptiness Machine, the first single off of From Zero, the return to the airwaves,
Yeah,
the return of Linkin
back.
Park as they were back this year. First song with Emily Armstrong. I liked that this song had Mike Shinoda singing for the verse and the chorus, and then had Emily Armstrong doing a verse and chorus. I really think that like a lot of the older stuff was like there were no choruses done by Mike Shinoda.
Yeah.
Obviously, there wasn't a lot of rapping in the choruses. It was all clean vocals in the chorus, and that was Chester's role. But having that sort of balance between Mike being a lead singer and Emily being a lead singer on this, I think really works for me. I dig this song quite a bit.
This has been on consistent repeat for me. And if this is not in my top 5 Spotify songs of the year, I would be absolutely shocked.
For like the few months it's been out. Yeah.
I've been over the weekend, I think I put this on repeat and I listened to it like 10 times in a row. I'm not even joking. This is such an insanely good earworm.
Yeah, it is.
And it introduces the audience to Emily Armstrong's vocals in such a clean way.
Yep.
It's just saying here this, and especially if nobody's ever listened to Dead Sarah before, that's also a phenomenal band on their own. This is just saying this is what it is. And I think this was the best single to start off with.
Yes, I
and
agree.
when they had their live stream of their first show back too, when they opened with this, I had no idea what to expect. I think also watching that also did something like to add to it.
Yeah.
This is a phenomenal single and I cannot wait to hear it live.
I agree. I would go A.
Yeah, same.
I can't give it S because it feels like a cultural moment that hasn't happened yet for it to make
We
it
have
an
to
S.
let it simmer a little bit more.
Let it simmer, you know? But definitely A. I definitely like it quite
Yeah.
a bit. Next up, we have Points of Authority, the remix by Jay Gordon off of Reanimation, the remix record that they did after Hybrid Theory, of all the songs from Hybrid Theory. This was a pretty consistent rotation for me too, because everybody was so into Hybrid Theory that they were like, please give us more as soon as possible. And I'm sure not only the band and the label and all that, like everybody was like, what can we do? They want more. How can we give them more?
How do we give the kids what they want?
Yeah, like in that era, you had to release a record. You couldn't just do like, yeah, whatever. We got B-sides, we got all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't that kind of culture or the internet culture that we have now, where you could just put out stuff whenever. So you had to do like a remix record just to be like, we made something new. And Points of Authority, obviously being a banger song in the first place, I don't feel like it changed up the original too much. Didn't really do much to it.
This one compared to a lot of the other songs on here,
Yeah.
it wasn't as crazy.
Yeah.
So I think if you were listening to it, this could be a palate cleanser just to remind you what it sounded like. But I mean, it still goes off.
It goes off.
It goes
Reanimation
off.
was very good. Like I look at that sort of thing now and I go, that's not really necessary. We didn't need to do that. But I liked it.
But we needed to. I think it's also similar to recent remixes nowadays. Like
Yeah.
if we look at Charlie XCX, she did a whole
Yes.
bunch of remixes too. This is almost the same exact thing.
It's the same. This is just like Charlie XCX.
All comes back. Brett Summer.
Oh boy.
Brett Fall.
Kamala. So I mean, I agree. I think that there's a lot of value and benefit to doing a remix record and changing it up. And Jay Gordon of Orgy being like another nu metal band doing some of this stuff, not just giving it to like hip hop artists, which they did, or EDM artists or electronic artists they did, there's a lot of variety there, and this being given to another like nu metal industrial band at that time, I think it made this song really interesting. Didn't change it up too much, but gave us everything we liked about the original and making it a little bit different from that. I would go B,
Yeah,
high B.
I'm in the same area.
Yeah, like I don't think Reanimation is like a cultural change as much as it maybe made some space for other remixes to be done
I
of
think
different
it
things.
helped introduce the alt scene a little bit more to rap as a genre because
yeah.
back during that time it was so everybody's against each other.
Yeah.
I think it helped a lot of people want to also introduce it more into their music because I
Yes.
feel obviously I came late to Linkin Park game because I was a kid,
Yeah.
but I listened to Linkin Park and I heard a lot of the rapping and then I naturally gravitated towards Hollywood Undead. Naturally, as a girl does.
As a lady would.
As a girl does in 2010.
I like this rapping over guitars thing. Is there a way to make it less feminist?
Now listen.
Now we got Given Up off of Minutes to Midnight.
Yes, it is.
This song is stupid good.
Yes.
It's dumb how good this song is.
I first heard this song while at my great-grandparents' house going through Comcast TVs like on demand, and I played this all the time. And I remember one of my aunties came into I had a bedroom there, came into my bedroom, said, "What are you listening to, Godsmack?" And I didn't know who Godsmack was at the time.
Brother.
Then I found a Godsmack music video and I said, "Ew, this is yucky."
Giving up.
And I said, "No, this is Linkin Park. This is such a good song. This is S tier."
This is one of the last bangers they did. Like one of the yes, S tier, one of the last absolute bangers that they made because they were still going into that hard rock shit. This now has become such a thing that, you know, he did like a minute long scream in it, and it showcased that like he's not just a singer in a nu metal band. He's not just like this heavy singer. He also might be one of the greatest vocalists of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
So like the fact that Chester could do a lot of that stuff and then gave it up to do EDM nonsense later on is so disappointing. I'm glad that this song exists. And I just was like, keep doing that shit, man, because this song showcases that you were one of the greatest of all time.
I wonder, has anybody who's ever covered Given Up been able to hold that scream?
Other people can.
Okay.
But they didn't write it. They didn't make it.
Right.
They didn't think, oh, I'm going to put a minute long scream in it. Yes, and anybody who does it now, you listen back to this and you go, oh, you're trying to do that minute long
like
scream note.
You can't do it. This is something I don't think anybody would be able to. You can replicate it, but you can't
You're
actually
just going to be
achieve.
copying it.
Yeah, you can't achieve what it's been.
This set the bar, and if you are trying to meet that bar, you're just trying to copy this thing, which is not fair. I mean, you can do it, and if it fits the song, do it. But it's just a moment where it's like you're showcasing that you are top tier band. You deserve the festival slots. You deserve to be main stage. You deserve to be making that bag. Anyway, let's try some EDM bullshit.
This was the first song I listened to and I said, I want to learn how to scream.
Yeah.
I never learned how to scream. I just hope for the best. But this was the song where I said, I could do that. I don't think I can do that. So
No, you can't do that.
Thank you.
I have practiced quite a bit, and I given up on it quite a bit.
Damn, that's so
But
crazy.
I have practiced it, and I can get close. And it's all training. It's all working towards it.
Of
And,
course.
Anybody could do it if they spent the time to learn how to do it.
There's a lot of YouTube tutorials out there.
There's a lot of YouTube
There's so
tutorials. There's a
many.
lot of people who give it a shot.
Don't worry,
And
some of my friends from high school are currently posting about their journeys, trying to scream sing in their 30s.
keep it up. Don't stop. This song is an S.
Absolutely.
Next up, we got One More Light. This is the album cover for the remix, but it's just the title track off of One More Light, the record. Obviously, this song was released as a single after Chester's passing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of heaviness to the song with that. There's a lot of lyrics that are very aligned with like probably the emotions that everybody has. There's a lot of lyrics that are way too on point with it.
This was a song that when it came out after his passing happened that I like kind of did cry because I think when Chester Bennington died, I think that was like the only celebrity I've ever been absolutely like devastatedly upset about.
Yeah. Growing up with his voice in my ears so much and having, you know, that record like really change and define like my youth and my high school career and shit. It's like, yeah, that person leaving this planet and not being able to find a way to kind of deal with those feelings. And, you know, nobody who listens to this music isn't depressed. It's like, all right, well, this hits me in a way that I wish it didn't. I think this song is a really good song to feel those emotions.
Yeah.
So of all the songs on One More Light, this might be the only one that I enjoyed.
This is the only one that I think has the impact that I feel the album wanted to have
Yeah.
overall, but they did it in one song, and they could have just did that and moved on, honestly.
I agree. But I would give this song a B, if not like a low A. I do think it's good. I think that it's maybe better in hindsight, but
Yeah.
like with the benefit of what has happened since this song was written, created,
if
and
it didn't happen, we could have completely different thoughts on it.
But I can't separate my feelings on the song, hearing it, not like and saying, oh, does this song stand on its own? It's like, well, the guy who wrote it was in a place, and then, you know, now we have this song as
Right.
it exists, and I'm not separating that. So I'm giving it a B because the song is pretty good considering.
I would also agree, a B with a low A.
Yeah. Next up, we got Bleed It Out off Minutes to Midnight.
This is fantastic.
It's hard to hear this song and Given Up being sort of similar with like the guitars, very forward, the rapping, the singing, like the rock song of it all. And like not hear it as like, okay, we got two of them on this record, you know? Okay, we're good.
We got two of these guys.
We got two of them. This song is just so repetitive though.
It's the intro for me that gets me.
Yeah.
And I really like Mike Shinoda's rap
Yes.
during this entirety. I think that is what also stands out to me because it has a little bit more with him in it.
Yes.
And then Chester doing the chorus. And I think it's great. This is a song that every time it ends, I wish it was longer. I really love this song. I know this rap. I have this rap down.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
Of course you do. She's in the car just like, yeah, let's do it. And the passenger seat just rocking out. I see you.
You mean while I'm driving my car?
Don't do that. Don't do that. It is repetitive to me. I don't love that the chorus is just the same repeated thing over and over again. But I agree with you that like Mike Shinoda carries this song and does it really fucking well. I would give it an A, if a low A, just because I'm like, Given Up of comparing these two, which is hard not to, is an objectively better song. I think the bridge is a little bit phoned in too. Like, I think there's some stuff here that I would like switch up if I were doing it, but I still think it is a very good song. I also think it's a good song for like going more to rock radio, doing rap and doing the growly, raspy vocals.
Yeah, making it more, introducing it to people because then after that album, we did have like What I've Done and things that were more what people wanted to hear for casual listeners.
So I think it does bridge a gap that Linkin Park did very well with this song to do that.
I give this a solid A.
Next up, we got Wastelands. This is off of the Hunting Party. You know how I've like talked, like I gave Escape the Fate probably way too much shit about this, but there's like that song that like kind of has that weird, like almost like dancey, like beat to it. And like it kind of just is like talking about this like apocalypse and like I'm the Joker, or like it like kind of has that feeling. This is that to me. This is the type of song that someone listens to in the country and says, we live in an apocalypse and it's all these cities and these Democrat-run cities.
Oh no!
All these blue states.
Is this the one that got everybody in from the rural areas?
I think so. I think this is so red state rock sounding. This is so military. This is so country. This is like the kind of thing where a band like Imagine Dragons is like heavily influenced by this.
Ooh.
Like there's a direct line from some of these Linkin Park songs to a band like Imagine Dragons. And this is one of them.
I understand what you say with that because I can definitely hear it. That's why this sounded, again, so very generic radio rock to me. And I like the switch up in the beat compared to everything else we've heard from Hunting Party so far.
Yes.
Most definitely. But it is something that I wouldn't personally go back to. Or if I was in like far west in Illinois, if I walked into a weird towny dive bar and I heard this, I'd be like, maybe I need to leave.
Yeah.
I might have to go home.
Yeah. This is an F for me.
Yeah, same.
Next up, we got Guilty All the Same featuring Rakim. Rakim. This is off of the Hunting Party. This was the lead single, I believe, off of the Hunting Party. And it has a lot of that old school Linkin Park sound. It has rapping in it with the feature. No Mike Shinoda rapping, which felt weird.
I mean, I feel we didn't get as many Mike Shinoda raps later on.
Yeah, he moved to a guitar and
They
forgot.
just said, be quiet and play your little guitar over
But then
there.
why have a feature?
Because they want to branch out and get other people, you know? I
Like,
mean,
Mike can do it live. Or
I mean,
Akeem's
I don't
not
know
coming.
majority of these other features that they had on here, if I'm
Yeah.
being 100% honest. I think Guilty All the Same was trying to recall and get a lot of those OG fans when they put it out.
Yeah.
I do really like the song. I think it's fun. It's like, you know, jammy. It's fine. I think compared to everything else we've heard on this album, the main standout.
Yeah.
The primary thing here.
There's a lot. It's longer. It felt like they were letting some stuff breathe on this one. It wasn't like there's a lot of rock songs that I feel like are bloated. It's like, okay, you did too much. And this one felt like it was trying to do, I assume, a more theatrical sound. It has a lot more electronic elements. It has like a longer feature rap part. Like it's not just like a verse that is rapped. It's like, no, we had a rapper come on and do something
And like
here
actually integrated.
and make his part, and it's integrated into it. So I did not mind this as much as a lot of the other stuff on this record. Yes, I'm still not giving it higher than a B. It's not like great. It's just better than some of the other stuff.
I would go with a low B.
I think that it's like trying to bring that old stuff, but it still is like you can't do that if you're trying to be something different than what you are.
Because here's the thing, then you're kind of misleading the rest of the fans when you hear the album and you say, where's this guy?
Like going into One More Light and creating something completely off of what you did in the beginning. If you're trying to keep that old stuff and you're trying to keep the inspiration that brought you into doing the new metal thing in the first place, you either got to go whole into that or you got to just give it up entirely. And I think we've seen giving it up entirely doesn't work for them. And also trying to sort of like have some of it, like have your cake and eat it too, also doesn't work for them.
I think we've talked a lot about different bands that are able to mature over the years and how either they needed to, they decided not to, and we wish they needed to, or they have, and it's just objectively not great.
Yeah.
I think Linkin Park, they gave it a shot with trying to mature their sound, and I think that's admirable and what you were supposed to do in general during that time frame. I wish they pushed back more on it.
Yeah.
Because this isn't the Linkin Park that I feel should have been around during that time. This was not anything that substantive.
Yeah. So B on this one. Next up, we got Breaking the Habit off of Meteora. I mean, this song rules.
Oh my God, yes.
Being a more like not an EDM song, right? They weren't doing the EDM trend. It didn't exist in the same way at this point. But it was more like industrial electronic and more of like Mr. Han's like DJing stuff in it that I felt like got lost in a lot of the EDM stuff and electronic stuff. Like Linkin Park was never an electronic band. They were a new metal band that had a turntablist who was into like scratching culture,
right?
And a lot of hip hop stuff that was not electronic music. It was more hip hop based. And this one has a lot of that like glitchy electronic stuff in it that really works for Linkin Park. And I love this song. It's super catchy. Chester's vocals being like so fast and like the melodic delivery of all of it. I'm like, yeah, this is where they were like really killing it.
The music video for this too.
So good.
That was so, I feel, revolutionary for the time with the animation.
It's an AMV.
We love AMVs.
They were like, fuck it. Fuck you, Goku. I'm doing my own AMV.
They said, we know what we want here. We're going to do it on our own.
Fuck you, Goku.
This is just such a legendary song. Yes. I can't even begin to explain where Breaking the Habit starts and where it ends for a lot of this. This is a song that I prefer to always start off listening to if I start to get into a Linkin Park hole. It's just so technical.
It is.
Compared to some of the other stuff. It's just so unique by comparison.
Easy S for me.
Absolutely.
Next up, we got Burn It Down. Burn It Down off of Living Things. The lead single off of that.
Yeah, I know you said we need to get rid of burning.
We do.
Burning Man.
We do.
Burn.
Living things, people, burn the cities.
This is a fun song.
This one is the only one post Minutes to Midnight that I really hear on the radio consistently. or have like heard. This is very Transformers core too. Obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you listen to even Mike Shinoda's rap portion, I think it's Transformers core, but I feel like they leaned into it so well.
They really did lean into fucking Transformers core.
They own Transformers core, and that's fine.
I love making this a thing now. We're making Transformers core real.
Should we make shirts?
Yeah. Just in the Linkin Park font, but it says
Transformers core.
I don't hate this one. I do think it's so generic radio rock. It's so boring. It's everything that people talk about, like rock music bands are not doing anything that is inventive. They're not experimenting. They're not doing anything dangerous anymore. Like being a rock musician is just pop music for people who drive a truck. Like this is that.
They have their CDL.
Like, got build it up, burnt down, brother.
Well, during this time, though, they were the main purveyors of this type of sound.
They were one of the holdouts, but like, you know, we want to be a pop band. You know, Linkin Park at this point has been Linkin Park for a long time. They don't need to do Hybrid Theory 2. They want to do like rock radio, but that's when it started to get stale and boring, and a lot of people moved over to more EDM stuff. And they're like, well, why does nobody care about our rock music? And they're like, oh, we got to do more of this. And it's like, well, this is one of the songs that like is boring. It's good. I don't dislike this song in particular, but a lot of the stuff on this record, especially, is just like, this sounds like vague. This sounds gray. Make something that like makes somebody immediately turn their head and go, holy shit.
I mean,
like,
it is an album that is gray.
It is a gray ass album.
You know, they really stuck to the theming, at least in that way.
I don't know why the album cover is Iron Man.
Because they're burning him down.
This is a C. It's not bad. I mean, this is one of the ones of listening to later era stuff that the chorus sticks in my head. Mike Shinoda sticks in my head on it. Like, I can remember this one. It doesn't blend in with everything else in a positive and bad way, because there could be
of course,
two of those.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, it's middle of the road. I would hear it and go, that can stay on.
I would say high C, because it kind of gets stuck in my head because it is catchy. And I think too, we kind of rag a lot on radio rock, especially nowadays.
And I won't stop.
I think it's fine to have a few golden nuggets of generic radio rock that you do really like, because that's what makes it fun.
This is to defend some of her later takes. I'm sure it is.
Just wait till we get to Divorce Mom Rock, Brian.
Hell yeah. All right, next up we got Two-Faced. This is the last single from Zero so far. We don't know if anything else is going to be released. Probably not.
Probably not. It's already out.
This is the last song they released off of it, though.
I have a lot of thoughts on this when I first listened to it, because I was kind of excited. This is the one song that I listened to it and I said, this is every single generic rock song blended into one. But then you listen to the full version of it and you say, oh, wait, you just buried the lead with all of this good shit. But I don't want to listen to any of it because I can't get past the first minute and a half.
I absolutely love this song. Top tier. This is an S off the new record for me.
What?
For sure. I love this song. I absolutely love it. Can't get enough of it. I think that a lot of people were saying, like, is this they're one step closer on this record?
I heard that with some of their instrumentation later in that song.
Yeah. And like the bridge where it's like the screaming and it's basically just shut up when I'm talking to you again. I think that does do it a disservice. But again, the thing where I think that Linkin Park does the best is when your mom won't make the chicken nuggies. When your mom says you got to stop playing that game and clean your room. That's where they are the best. And this is the song off the record where it's like, no, I'm mad at my teachers. I'm mad at, like, this is the one where you're definitely listening to this in high school and you're like, I identify with this song. And it brought me back to all of those emotions and those feelings where I'm like, yes, this is the Linkin Park that I want. I also have to point out that in the music video, they are swaggy as fuck.
They are swaggy, but I don't like how the music videos
so swaggy
is filmed.
Nah, get swaggy as hell, dude.
It was cringy in the worst way possible.
No, you're so wrong.
You're did so not like it.
No, swagalicious.
The chorus sticks in my head because it's so catchy and repetitive.
Yeah.
But you lose me right at the beginning. You lose me so quick.
I think that anybody who's concerned about this new version of Linkin Park and wants to find the type of swag that I want to find should watch this music video and lean into your swag. You know, bring swag back.
No, we don't need to bring
swag
we
back.
can leave that back in 2012.
Get a little swagalicious, get a little braggadocious. Get your freak on. Have a good time. This is an S for me. I don't care.
This is a B.
Fine. Next up, we got The Catalyst. This is the lead single off of 1,000 Suns. And
are you trying to remember what it sounds like?
no, I know that it's like boring. It's just, it starts off with this like electronic part. And I mean, it could be one where Mike Shinoda starts. I'm assuming it is. I think it's like a weird little rap part that starts this one. I don't know. It's boring. This is a boring song. This is a boring ass song.
Yeah, this didn't do anything for me either. It was, again, it's there, but it doesn't add to the vibe I'm trying to get when I'm listening to Linkin Park.
There's no energy behind it. It's just like, there's some stuff on this record and Living Things that I'm like, you want to be Coldplay and you're not doing Coldplay well enough.
Oh, nobody should be Coldplay.
Love Coldplay. This gets a fucking D from me. This is so boring. I was like, getting into this record, being the lead single, and like, okay, now I got to listen to this record that I've never really gotten into, and this is the first one I go, oh no.
You said, oh no, honey, don't do that anymore.
Like, I need something else. I need something else from this, and this was not it for me.
I would say it's listenable. It's a high D, but it's not the vibe.
We have Numb/Encore from Collision Course. This is the Jay-Z and Linkin Park collaboration album where they mashed up a lot of their songs together. Underrated. I was like looking through and I'm like, do I add this in here? Like with Reanimation in this one, but none of the other stuff. And I'm like, no, this was such a cultural moment.
Oh my God, yes.
This was so big. This was so good that they said, we can't do another one of these. Like MTV sponsored this.
We will blow up the world if we do more.
No, they like, we can't do it this good. We cannot make it this good again. And we're not going to try because we will never achieve how good Collision Course is. MTV was like, we want to do this with other bands. And then they knocked it out of the park so hard. They said, nah, never mind.
You're like,
Never mind.
Good. We're good.
This is an S tier.
Absolutely.
This whole record is S tier. All of the mashups work so perfectly. Everything that they do together is so good on this record. I have been trying to, like, for newer fans, for people who are like getting into this style of music in emo scene and pop punk scene and all of that, and are like, yeah, I really like Linkin Park, but like, I don't really go back to the new metal stuff. It's like, check this out. Understand how much this changed the world of music, how much this changed popular music culture, and understand that I will never have much bad to say about Jay-Z because he hit up Linkin Park to do this.
And that's crazy. Again,
Yes.
During that time, it was such a division between these genres, especially against rap. This was just so legendary.
Yes.
And I don't think we're going to ever have anything like this again.
You can't.
I don't
can't
think
do
there
it.
is. There are artists out there absolutely that are fantastic, phenomenal. This was a moment in time that we can never replicate. We're never going to get it back.
Never getting it back. Immediate S.
Yes.
Instantaneous S. So good. Listen to it if you haven't. It will change your game. Next up, we got Final Masquerade. This is off of The Hunting Party. Final Masquerade is one of those titles where you're like, that could be anything.
I really liked it because I liked the title name because it said Final Masquerade. Ooh, that sounds fun. Cute.
It's like high school learning to be goth type shit. Like you have like 5 words that you're like, if you put that in there, it's fine. Like the word crimson, masquerade,
It's
other bullshit.
Vampire core will lure me
Vampire
in anywhere,
shit. Yeah.
anywhere and any time. I'm here for it.
This
It
song
just
is-
has to be good.
This song is so boring. So boring.
I was really disappointed with it because
So boring.
with a fun title name like that, then you disappoint me.
It's one of those 5 words, man. 5 goth words.
Can't trust them.
Parents hate these 5 goth words. Number 4 will blow your dad. It's F.
Yeah, F.
Next up, we got the first single, the first song ever released off the record, Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, One Step Closer. A song that I think has come back up as new metal has gotten more popular as like one of the bigger
This
Linkin
has been
Park
a
songs.
trending sound on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because it's iconic.
It's iconic.
If you even look at the music video, oh my God, such a crazy look back in time to what people just were wearing. And I don't know. I think it's so crazy. That's when I say, I wish I was a teenager in the early 2000s and not a literal child baby.
As a teenager in the early 2000s, this was at the time one of the songs I thought was weaker on the record.
Really?
Because it was just okay, that's this. That's what nu metal is. Okay, I get it. Like, you got to show your point, and then you get to do all the other stuff that, like, this is what the main thing is, and these are all the ways that I am changing it and interpreting it and making it something different. And so this just was like, okay, you can do a rap song screaming, angry, mad at my mom for making me do the chores and my homework and that. But over time, like, I think this song has taken on a different life. It's taken on a different meaning. And I mean, I have nothing bad to say about it. It's an immediate S for me.
Yeah, same.
It's like the most nu metal of nu metal.
I just feel like when you get to shut up when I'm talking to you, when it was relevant when we were younger and teens, we were saying that to our parents or to anyone. And I think now you can still say it to your parents or anyone, especially what's going on in society right now.
You walk into your job, and if you're not like this is the song where you joke about, like, me walking into work with, like, the angriest music you've ever heard in my headphones, and it's like just the bridge of this song, like, shut up when I'm talking to you. My my radicalization came from One Step Closer by Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, S tier. All right, next up we got Faint off of Meteora. This is maybe one of the greatest rock songs of all time.
Because it's such a banger. This is another song that needs to be longer.
It needs to be longer, but it's also like, because it's only with you for that minute and every single second of it is so good. This is a perfect song. This is one of the reasons why Meteora is a classic record. This is one of the reasons why Linkin Park is a classic band, because they can write fucking heaters like this with all of the parts of it going off at 10, 11, 12. Like, there's so much good.
We're never coming down. Even when we have Mike Shinoda rapping, it is still, we're at that 10. And then the whole time you are at a 20.
Yeah.
You are pumping your fists, shaking as you're beating somebody up. Everything fantastic that you want when you go to a show.
Like, top 3 Linkin Park songs, period. This is an S, no question. Makes Linkin Park a band that needed to reunite.
This is also the song for the last 10 years that I do my main core routine, my core exercise workout routine.
You can't not go 110% listening to this song.
That's why it's perfect during your core exercises.
Yeah. Put it on your workout playlist. Don't faint.
Oh.
Next up, we got Iridescent off of, I want to say, Living Things. Apparently
Transformers.
Also Transformers. They had another Transformers core.
Was it this Transformers 3?
I don't know.
I don't know. I know that they have a Transformers that's based in Chicago that has literally no plot, just robots shooting hot women, men. That's it. There's nothing else to it.
I gotta check this movie out.
You would like it. It doesn't make any sense. You would like it for some of the optics.
This is the worst song that we listened to for this.
I really didn't like it. We were doing well with Transformers core here. This is gonna be this is an L for me.
L.
Dog.
This is the worst. This is an L.
This is an
lower
L.
than F. This was the worst one we listened to. I have nothing else to say about it. It's just really bad.
Yeah.
Really did not like it. Don't care. This is not going on a playlist for me ever. All right, next up we got Castle of Glass off of Living Things.
This is a great fucking song.
Are you actually joking my ass on this?
I listen to this song a lot.
When this song started and I started to hear, like, down in Louisiana style, like, and he comes in with "Take Me Down to the River Bend." I'm like, what are we doing here?
It's different. It reminds me. Think about Bleed It Out. When you have the beginning, you're supposed to be in the saloon. They can do this type of energy.
You're supposed to be in the saloon.
You never watched a Bleed It Out music video?
Yes, but like, I don't.
In my mind, I'm in the Linkin Park saloon.
I don't walk around in my life thinking, when I hear this, I'm supposed to be in the saloon right now.
Hey, Brian, I think you would benefit greatly from romanticizing your life in the Linkin Park saloon.
I am supposed to be in the saloon. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in the saloon.
I also listened to this song Whenever you say glass house, motherfucker, and I always think of this, and then I go listen to it. It's like a Pavlovian thing for me now.
Okay, I like that. That's actually changing my mind a little bit. This song sounds like they wanted to try to do a country song. This is another one where I'm like, Imagine Dragons heard this and said, oh, hell yeah, we can do this.
Oh, no.
This is so Imagine Dragons, rock radio. Like, this is when rock started to lose that edge and be like, this is not a rock song. This is not a band song. This is just pop music that is like not, you know, a pop girly, all this shit. It's like just so average, so boring, so middle of the road. It's got this like country shit in it that like doesn't make sense to me hearing from Linkin Park. It like jarred me in a negative way where I'm like, ooh, oh boy, what are we listening to? Like one of the songs that I remember from listening to this, not because I had no thoughts on it at all, but because all my thoughts were like, oh, what are we doing here? What is this? What is this?
With some of their newer songs, like the singles that we've talked about on here, a lot of these are more emotionally driven and emotionally tied if you like it or not, I feel. Because I have more emotional ties to Castle of Glass because of when it did come out.
Sure.
And where I was in life, because I was listening to more Linkin Park and edgier music during that time. So I gravitated towards this stuff that was coming out. I feel like it's so emotive, and it's one of those songs that you can kind of listen to when you're really feeling down to kind of build you back up a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I'm giving it a D only because I remembered it. It had something in there that at least gave me some memorability behind it. It wasn't as boring as something like Iridescent or a lot of these other ones where I'm like, this is so forgetful and so unnecessary. And why is this single? And why am I listening to this? This one, at least I'm like, okay, I remembered you. I don't love that I remembered you. I don't love that you're stuck in my head, but I remembered you.
This is a B. I thought it would bump it up when I told you what I was I listened to this too. I'm not lying about that. That is something that happens now.
You're like, I thought by my personal anecdote you might have changed your mind, and I was like, D. Bad.
It's a no.
Take me down to the river, Ben. Thanks, Mike Shinoda. Thank you. You're from California.
To explore. He wanted to be in the saloon again.
I should be in the saloon right now. Next up, we have Powerless. This could be off of anything. The last song off of Living Things. This is another, like, when you hear Powerless or Rebellion or these songs that are like, we're in a rock band, you're like, what are you trying to tell me?
Well, even so, like, these are powerful words on their own. So I'm expecting something that's going to be impactful in something that might even be different that stands out. There's nothing that does here. If anything, it is powerless.
It is powerless
in impacting on anything.
Like there's so much like words that are just like, these are rock words, right? In the same way there's like 5 goth words. It's like, okay, well, we got our rock words, you know? Pink would sing a song called Powerless.
I could see that, yeah.
Right? And it's like, Pink is not rock music. Pink is pop music. Also, side note, gonna put this out there on record, hate Pink's music.
I know you do.
Can't fucking stand it. And so when I say that Pink would write a song called Powerless, I mean it. It's bad. Don't like it. F. Pink's fine. I don't have any problem with her. It's like rock by way of what if rock wasn't actually any of the things that it's supposed to be.
I like Pink.
It's Imagine Dragons core.
The newer stuff is.
Yeah.
But You in Your Hand, banger.
That's on the Divorced Mom rock.
Oh, yeah, it is. You bet it is.
All right, this is F.
Yeah, this is F.
Next up, we got Crawling off of Hybrid Theory. This was the first song that I heard by them.
Okay.
Saw the video on MTV. DNA was different. I
Altered?
remember my specific story of like going to buy this record was that at the time I didn't buy any albums that had a parental advisory sticker on it because I was like young kid, felt really weird. Like I'm like, ooh boy, like I don't know, I'm like might be going into a different world. This made me concerned because a lot of rock music at the time was getting those parental advisory stickers on the albums. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like kind of nervous that this record's going to have that parental advisory sticker on it, but I really want to buy this record. And then it didn't because there's no swearing on this record at all. And I was like so excited because I heard this song and I was like, I need to own this record.
Yeah.
I need to listen to this. This record is so groundbreaking. This song is like nothing I had ever heard before. And it completely changed my view on all rock music. And I'm like, nah, fucking, I'm buying everything with parental advisory, my ass.
Yeah, be damned.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy. I never actually thought of that. Yeah, this album doesn't have any swears.
No swearing. That was the way they were appealing to all audiences.
Well, and because when you are on, they were on a major label.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember which one, but you do, especially during that time, you have to make things clean to be easy to get
Limp
on.
Bizkit. I just defeated your entire argument.
But if you want to be more popular, because Limp Bizkit was popular, but then it was kind
Limp
of like
Bizkit
cringe.
was selling Christina Aguilera numbers. Limp Bizkit was massive. Limp Bizkit was doing pop radio numbers at the time.
That's crazy.
It was a very strange time. But Limp Bizkit doing exactly, because it's different. You're not doing the pop sheen. You're not trying to be on the radio at that time with the no swearing. Of course, they censored it, and it wasn't really getting like all the radio play until all of a sudden it's taking off. Same with Linkin Park. I've come around so hard on Limp Bizkit.
I know
It's
you
crazy.
have. It's been crazy to
I
see your
used
evolution.
to hate Limp Bizkit, and now I'm like, dude, they kind of rule.
I never had anybody say much about Limp Bizkit in my entire life until the last like handful of years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so honest. I didn't even know this is very Chicago core, but the opening for Eric and Kathy's morning show was from Limp Bizkit. I only found that out last year.
From the Mission Impossible.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea.
When they played that at Lollapalooza, and I'm like, yo, they don't even, do they know this is for traffic?
Literally, that's what I always,
like,
because I think I heard it on Q101 and I was driving.
Yeah, you're like,
And I almost,
what?
Maybe this is why I shouldn't drive. I almost stopped because I was so shocked.
You're concerned. The traffic might be changing. I'm about to hear it.
I'm about to hear it. I'm on a busy road. I don't even like
and then you just
driving.
hear Fred Durst come out. I know why you want to hate me.
This isn't even the right radio station that's going to give me the traffic right now. I'm so confused.
I hope that's not just like a local Chicago thing, and I hope people outside of Chicago
I
can
hope
also
so.
understand this reference. Anyway, Crawling is an S.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much off Hybrid Theory that is an S. Crawling is an S. This song is perfect. Perfect song.
Yeah.
There's so many cool like electronic parts. You don't know what you're hearing. Chester comes in with this scream of the chorus right at the beginning. And you're like, whoa,
I think
this is it.
the lyricism here too really showcases them as like songwriters as well.
Yes.
Because again, this is just like one of those emo bangers, I would like to say, that you sit in your room and you cry to.
This is where you can do something like distracting in like a not cringy way. Like it's funny when I explain it and you like hear it.
But I know
like,
what you're talking about.
It's not bad. Like distracting. And you're like, dude, and SNL would do that as a bit. And it's like, for me, I hear this song and I go, this is perfect. This is a good way of doing it. You can't copy that and it not be cringy or weird.
Yeah.
Distracting.
Reacting.
God, I love this song. S. We got Leave Out All the Rest. This is off of Minutes to Midnight,
yeah,
right?
it is.
I love this album art picture.
I've
where
never
it's like
seen
just be
this
in a
album
room.
art picture and I don't like it. I feel like they just said, hey, Transformers, can we borrow some of the graphics real quick?
It's all Transformers, dude. It's all Transformers.
Maybe this is why this is a great album.
Not this image, but every band has done this photo.
Of course.
I've done this
photo. It's a canon event. You have to let it happen.
Yes, every band has done this photo on this, which also is like Leave Out All the Rest being like, just this is what you do. You do Transformers now. Good luck, Minutes to Midnight.
This is a good song too.
I'm like, this is going to be on Lizzie's list of top songs. For me, it's a lot like Shadow of the Day, where I'm like, okay, fine. You made a movie. Transformers movie.
Leave Out All the Rest, again, it's just so emotive that it's a little bit more tied to me for the reason. I think same thing for Valentine's Day off of this album too.
It is the name of a song, isn't it?
I love that song. Valentine's Day as a song, if you ever listen to that after being broken up with and it's Valentine's Day, your depression amplifies and you become some new metal emo wizard.
I should be in the saloon right now.
Yeah, who's going to the Linkin Park saloon.
Huh. Why is this wizard in a saloon?
To drink alone on Valentine's Day.
You are in the wrong area of the theme park, my friend. A wizard arrives exactly when he intends to. This is a B. It's not bad. I I've leaned in more to the things that were like big summer blockbuster movie soundtrack songs from Linkin Park, because there is so much that just got so boring. And this one is not as boring as a lot of it. So B, like it's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
I can enjoy it and leave it
I think
on.
I agree. It's a B. It's a good song, but I think compared to other songs on this album specifically, it's still kind of, it's there.
All right, those are our opinions. Those are our takes. Those are our thoughts on all of the singles from Linkin Park. We are excited that they are back. The new record is fun. I'm enjoying it. Going back down memory lane for Linkin Park has been nice.
The last like 2 weeks, I've only really listened to Linkin Park, and then anything that I needed to listen to for anything we've been doing or new music, just so I can be aware of it.
Yeah.
And then I get a little bit mad. I'm like, no, I want to go back to listening to Linkin Park.
I want to go back to Linkin Park. Where's the heaviness? Where's the guitars? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you hate us for what we've said?
Do you love Transformers Core?
Leave a comment of your favorite Transformers movie in the comments below.
And are you watching it in the Linkin Park Saloon?
Let us know your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe. We got a lot of other good stuff coming. Let us know if you want us to do more tier lists, more whatever. We may also have a review of Hybrid Theory coming out soon to the channel. So subscribe to hear our review of that as well, and a review of a lot of other music and records. But until Linkin Park and until some of these songs, have a good time. We'll see you there.